And we are back. Welcome back to the channel. It has been a little while. Apologies for no uploads to the last two Manchester United games. As I said, I was away when the Reading game was on, and I just didn't feel there was a need to put one out last night. We were already pretty much guaranteed to be through to Wembley, so no need for a reaction last night. What we're here for today is the Players You Need series, the Fantasy Football series returning once again. After the end of the transfer window, how many new signings am I going to include? How many new signings do I recommend you be looking at ahead of Game Week 22? And a pivotal game week potentially fantasy football-wise, as well as we have the first double game week for a while with Manchester United and Leeds playing twice, being the only two teams to play twice this week. So a big opportunity for a potential triple captain this week. So stick around to find out who I am going to be going for. Before we do that, we're going to wrap up who won last week's challenge, or from 2 weeks ago, the Game Week 21 challenge. We'll have a little update on the SO99 League, and then we'll get into it. So make sure, if you enjoy the video, you drop a like on this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content we've got. Predictions, of course, will be out tomorrow morning at their usual time. Let's get into the video. So this is what I had as my Game Week 21 team. As you see, we were able to get ourselves 87 points. Obviously carried by that Erling Haaland. A couple of the gambles didn't quite pay off. Mohamed Salah only scoring 3. Ward-Prowse, in my opinion, rightfully robbed of a goal, which would have seen him get some big points as well. My gamble over some of the teenagers, one of them worked in Ferguson for Brighton. Spoilers, he's in my team for this week as well. But unfortunately, Nonto didn't quite do the damage that I thought he might do. He is, of course, one of those players with a double game week this week for Leeds. Other than that, we, of course, absolutely smashed it with yet another Newcastle clean sheet. So 3 clean sheets in the team for that. And Estupinian picking up 2 assists. I was backing him to get the clean sheet, but you know what? He went and got himself 2 assists, even though Brighton conceded 2 goals. So keep an eye out for Estupinian as well. I told you about him last time. He looks like he's going to be a good pickup in the long run. But 87 points, not the best overall game week score, with it being 838,000. Would be nice to get a little bit closer to the higher numbers for the overall game week, but we will take that. Let's see if there were any winners in the SO99 League last time out, and I can tell you that that actually wasn't. For the second game week running, no one in the SO99 League was able to beat the best of team. However, there were 2 teams that drew with the best of team, one of them being my own. So back-to-back 87s for my team as I climb my way back up the table, trying to restore some pride in my own team. George Hartigan as well picking up 87, and Danny Howard picking up 86 as the closest to beating the best of 21 team. Let's have a look at what those scores have done to the league table. And as you can see here, the gap at the top has been cut. James Morris only getting 68 last time out, with the chasing pack, as you can see, 85, 87, 85. So the gap has been pulled back a little bit, now down to around 50 points. So he's going to need a bit of a performance turnaround if he's going to hold on to that lead, especially if these people are going to continue the form they're in. Let's now go ahead and look at what I think is the players you need for Game Week 22. And obviously the big question is, which Manchester United players should you be going for? Because even as a Manchester United fan, I'm going to be biased and say we should win both of these games relatively comfortably. But I think an awful lot of you watching would expect Manchester United to get the wins against Crystal Palace and against Leeds, and most likely get clean sheets in both games as well. So the questions really are, which Manchester United players do you go for? Because you could probably pick 9 or 10 out of the usual starting 11. I've gone for David De Gea as the defensive option. I don't think there's a guarantee over any of the Manchester United defence to play both games. I would say if you're going to go for one Manchester United defender, you probably go for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Dalot still doesn't look like he's back to full fitness. So I think Wan-Bissaka will play both games at right back. But other than that, I don't really think there's a guarantee on any of the other players. He's kind of been rotating Shaw and Malacia, as Shaw looks to get over his recent illness. And obviously Malacia has been playing really well. So I can't say with any certainty that either of those will play twice. And he's been rotating the defence for fitness reasons. So Varane, Martinez, Maguire, Lindelof. Obviously he's been playing Shaw at centre-back as well. I just think the safest option is David De Gea. Unless something drastic happens to him, he will play both games. And if Manchester United do get clean sheets, he may get some saves as well. So I think if you're going to go for a defender, Manchester United-wise, you go for David De Gea. As for the rest of the team, I've gone for Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. I know a lot of people are going to be triple captaining Rashford this week. I'm just going to say this out there right now. As good as an option as this is, Rashford has only been picking up gradual points. I know he's been playing really, really well, but he's only been getting like 8, 9, 10 points a game. So if you are going to triple captain him, if he does do that in these 2 games, you'll get 20 points from the 2 games, giving you an overall score of 60, which is obviously fantastic for a triple captain. However, in the next game week, Manchester City and Arsenal are playing twice, and Erling Haaland is at home to Aston Villa, then away to Arsenal. Now, when Erling Haaland performs, he gets 20 points in 1 game. So, if you're going to look at a triple captain option, I would say don't do it this week. Do it next week, and do your triple captain on Haaland when he plays against Villa and Arsenal, because he could quite easily score 5 goals in those 2 games, where I don't see Rashford or even Bruno, as you can see in the team here as well. I don't see them getting 5 goal contributions across the 2 games. Maybe 3 or 4, but I think Haaland's a better shout in next week's time. So if you have not decided whether or not to do a triple captain on a Manchester United player this week, I would just say hold fire and do Haaland next time out. As for the rest of the team, as I spoke about earlier, we've included Estepinian again. I was very tempted to go for 2 Brighton defenders this week, so I think they've probably got the best chance of getting a clean sheet outside of Manchester United. However, I can't ignore the fact that they're playing so well the other way. So obviously I've included Mitoma, the man of the moment for Brighton. And of course Ferguson still up front against Bournemouth. I think as likely as it is they'll get the clean sheet, they're probably going to score a fair few goals as well. So I think it'd be a bit of a waste to waste my Brighton picks on defenders. As for the rest of the defence, I've gone for Rico Henry against Southampton. I think Brentford have played very well defensively at home. I know Southampton are on a bit of an upturn at the moment. I know the results haven't quite been getting over the line, but they've been playing much better under Nathan Jones, so there might be a slight bit of a risk. And of course, we still have to go for Kieran Trippier. Newcastle's defensive record speaks for itself. Again, maybe slight kinks in the armour after what happened in the Southampton game the other day. And I've included Dan Burn on the bench once again, just in case you guys do feel like doubling down on those Newcastle defenders once again. As for the rest of the midfield, we'll start with someone that I can't believe is still this cheap in Leon Bailey. He's actually gone down in price where so many people have taken him out. Leon Bailey is now 4.5 million. Aston Villa sold Danny Ings in this transfer window. He is their second striker. He is 4.5 million. He's already got 70 points, which is only 30 off the top point scorer in fantasy football in Martin Odegaard this year. And like I said, he's 4.5 million. And he's playing up front for Aston Villa. They're at home to Leicester. The rest of their games over the next couple of weeks aren't the best. But for this week, if you're just looking for a cheap option to put in, and you haven't already got Mitoma, who I've obviously got next to him, Leon Bailey at 4.5 million is an absolute steal. And then next to him, we have got Bukayo Saka. Everton now, of course, with Sean Dyche in charge, you'd expect them to be a little bit more defensively solid, as all Sean Dyche teams are. But Arsenal are playing so well at the moment. And I think, as much as Odegaard has been getting a lot of plaudits, I think Saka is the one that is going to do the damage this week against Everton. As you can see, I've also included Saliba on the bench. I don't really see Everton scoring against Arsenal, so I couldn't pick all of these players. You know, I could have bench boosted this team, but that'd just be a bit of a waste. So again, the whole point of this series is giving you guys options for who I think you should be looking at. So if you haven't already got William Saliba, I think Arsenal are very good for a clean sheet this week, hence why he is down on the bench. And like I say, we're going for Bukayo Saka over any of the other Arsenal midfielders this week. And finally, we move on to the strikers, where I've gone for Ivan Toney in the main team. I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised about that. The majority of you have him already. But at home to Southampton, you're expecting Ivan Toney to do something good. And I'm still going to include Haaland. You've got to always have Haaland. Again, 85% of the people who play this game. So I imagine everyone watching this video has already got Erling Haaland. But I'm benching him this week. I think these players have much more chance of getting more points than Erling Haaland this week. But of course, he's probably going to be in your team anyway. And then my sub-goalie, I've gone for Remy Martinez. Aston Villa, again, like I say, at home, haven't been defending the best, but he's been playing really well in recent games, and Leicester are still kind of struggling for goals. So that is going to be my team for this week. I'm sure an awful lot of you have probably gone for some other players, but this is my advice. These are the players I'm going for. Do not triple captain a Manchester United player this week, is my advice. Wait for Erling Haaland next time out. But before we go, if you think that your team is capable of beating my best of Game Week 22 team, let me know by joining the SO99 League. Enter a team purely made from scratch just for this game week if you feel like having a bit of fun. That's the whole reason we do it like this. And of course, as always, drop a like if you have enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'll see you tomorrow for predictions. Thank you very much for watching.